So, you lost your key to the lock that lets you access your spare tire hoist. Well, if you lost your key, my understanding is your ignition key and your spare key is the same key. If you find that your ignition key doesn't open your lock, whatever you do, don't bang it with a hammer or try to drill it out. I'll show you how easy it is to take this lock out. But hold on there. In order for me to show you how to remove it, you have to understand the mechanics of this lock. Don't worry, it's really easy. Okay, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about here, if you go to the rear of your vehicle and look on the right side of your license plate, you'll see a black cover. Go ahead and open it up. You can open it up with your hands. It unsnaps. Once you've opened it, you'll see a lock there. You have to have a key to remove that lock. It can be the same key that starts the vehicle, or it can be a separate key. Either way, it takes a key. Once you remove that lock, you now have access to your spare tire hoist. But wait a minute. But what if you lost your key? Well, first of all, if you think your lock is rusted or stuck, you may want to spray some WD-40 inside the lock as much as you can. I would let it soak for a couple of 2 or 3 days, really good. And that'll help in the process that I'm going to show you here in a moment, how to remove the lock. But if you just don't have the key, let me show you how to remove this lock. But first, let me show you how this lock works. Now, if you find that your lock is completely damaged or rusted really bad, or maybe you don't have one at all, you can find them on eBay anywhere from, I've seen them as low as 15 bucks on up. Some of them come with a key, some of them don't. If they don't, you'll just have to take it to a locksmith. They'll make a key for you. One of the things you may want to think about if you're having a key made for your lock, change the lock so that the lock will accommodate the ignition key, so you'll just use one key. One key would be used for your ignition, and that same key would be used for your hoist lock. Let's get back to showing you how this lock works and how to remove it without a key. As you can see, you have this spring-loaded tongue, so to speak. Currently, right now, it's in the lock position. If you look in the back, you'll see this raised line. This raised line should be in the 12 o'clock position or up on top. You can see how your key is. Your key is positioned from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. That's how you're going to stick your lock in. Just take your lock and key and push in the hole. You'll hear it click. Once you hear it click, pull your key out, and now it's locked. It's locked by this little plunger. Like I said, this plunger faces down, or 6 o'clock. Let me show you a cross section of what I'm talking about. Here's a cross section of the tube where the lock goes into. As you can see, the plunger's at the bottom. If you look at the tube right here where the red arrow's at the bottom of the tube, it has this lobe sticking out. That's where the plunger sits in and locks into place. Let's go underneath the vehicle and I'll show you what that tube looks like underneath. When you get under your vehicle and look behind the lock, you'll see a black plastic tube. If you follow that tube, it goes all the way back on top of your spare tire and it goes directly into your hoist. Okay, let's go back to the other end. If you notice, there's a tiny little hole here. That's sort of like a drain hole. And here, you can see this lobe that I'm talking about. That's where the plunger locks into place. Now, what we're going to attempt to do is release the lock from the back side. Let's go back to the cross section. As you can see, I have a small, less than 1/8 of an inch thick in diameter pick. I got this at Harbor Freight. It was like 2 or 3 bucks. You get an assortment of them. What we want to do is we want to use the pick to move the plunger in to the unlocked position as shown here. You can see how I'm pushing the pick at this angle. As I push forward on the pick, you can see how the plunger moves up into the unlocked position. You may want to play with it a little bit just to get the feel. Now here's the lock in the locked position. When you're underneath, I want you to visualize this. You're going to stick the pick in at this angle and you're going to push, and as you're pushing, you're going to move forward the lock at the same time. When you push in, it's going to unlock, but at the same time as you're pushing in, you want to move the handle front to back in a forward and backwards motion so you can move the lock forward. Once you unlock it, it'll move forward. If it's rusted in there for some reason, you may have to work that plunger a few times with the pick. Now, how do you get the pick in there? Well, you're going to have to drill an 1/8 of an inch hole. To drill that hole, you're going to need an 1/8 of an inch drill bit, and you're going to need to drill that drill hole at this angle. Let's go underneath and I'll show you. You'll want to start drilling right about here. Remember, it's made out of plastic, so you don't have to push so hard. You don't want to drill it too far forward, otherwise you're not going to catch the lock, so drill the hole towards the back. And remember, you're going to need to have the drill going at about a 45-degree angle, as shown. Once you've drilled your hole, go ahead and insert the pick and move it at a 45-degree inward angle, just like I showed you earlier, and rock the pick forward and back. If you keep doing that, you'll unlock the lock, you'll feel the plunger move inward, and it'll slowly move forward. Now with the pick, all you're doing is moving the lock forward, just picking it and pushing it forward. Once it starts to move outward, you can pull it out with your fingers. If that's a little hard to do, just go ahead and take your pick and move the lock out and it'll come right out. And there you go. See how easy that was? And now what you're going to do is you're going to want to take your lock to a key shop and get a key made. Once you have a key made, go ahead and grease up the lock and go ahead and pop it back in. If you don't know how to service your lock, go ahead and click on the upper right hand corner. I have a short video on that subject. Once you have it in, go ahead and take some silicone and patch up the hole. That way no water will get inside it and rust your lock. And that's it. Now you have a key for your lock. If you need a refresher on changing your spare tire and what it takes, just click on the upper right hand corner and it will take you to this specific video. The first one is to find the location of the jack kit. The second video is where is your spare tire and how do you remove it. The third video is about how to jack your SUV up. The fourth video is how do you remove your tire and replace it with your spare tire. And the fifth video is what does the jack instructions say on my spare tire toolkit. So with that, okay, well I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it was very informative. Please check out my other how-to videos. Oh, and check out my new website. There's new items being put in there every day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, hit the bell. Until then, we'll see you at my next video. Bye.